afternoon. Welcome back to the Real Men of Real Estate here on KCAA Radio. You can find it on the dial at 106.5 FM or 1050 AM. I'm your host, Dan Redig, here with Gabe Candea, talking about 1031 exchanges and ultimately Delaware Statutory Trusts, DSTs. It's a heck of a process, I gotta say, so things have got to go wrong every once in a while. Do you have any stories to share?
Yes, it's a process that does have a lot of do's and don'ts. And so I always tell people, regardless of what direction you go, don't be afraid to call me. I mean, I'm happy to make sure my number one goal is for people to have a successful exchange, whether that's with me or not. Really, I mean, I just want to make sure that people that when I hear these horror stories about people blowing their exchange when they really had the intention to do it, it really breaks my heart.
Oh man.
Basically, one of the main important things to do is before you close on your down leg, your relinquished property, make sure you have the QI set up. That stands for qualified intermediary, or also known as exchange accommodator. I don't do that service. I'm happy to recommend quite a few, but that process needs to be set up with your escrow before you close. Otherwise, you cannot do a 1031 exchange. If you take constructive use of that money, if it goes into your bank account after you sell, you no longer can do a 1031. So that's number one.
Okay. But if you got escrow opened, you're okay.
If you're an escrow, you're fine, but you
Okay.
have to, if that money leaves escrow's account and goes into your account or your attorney's account or whoever, you're no longer in
Then it's game over.
That's
Oh,
right.
okay.
That's right. So it's very important that I've heard too many horror stories with people who I talked to a week after their sale and they say, oh yeah, I'd love to do that. And I said, well, now you can't.
That's expensive. Holy cow.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So is that that's kind of the big one, right?
That's the big one. And then just following timelines is very important. The other one too is the structure of the down. So the structure of the ownership of the down leg. What I mean by that is that people own properties in their name. It could be Gabe Candea owns the property. It could be Gabe Candea's trust that owns the property. It could be Gabe Candea LLC that owns the property. The entity that owns the property needs to remain the same. So I just got a call last week that someone says, oh, I think I'll put it into an LLC. No, you have to put it into the same entity that you had it in. You can transfer again later, but you have to at least keep it throughout the exchange.
Got it. Okay. So don't monkey with it in the middle.
Hey, once again, Dan, I mean, this is something that really no one else should know this information, but more than me. I mean, so I always tell people, don't beat yourself up over the do's and don'ts. Just reach out to me early on. I'm always happy to be, you can always bend my ear for more information. I'm always happy to kind of make sure you don't go through that process and do something wrong. So it's a little daunting in terms of remembering all this, but that's why
we work with professionals.
Yeah.
Right on. So if someone wants to get to this point where they can do these exchanges and they want to be able to, maybe throw $100,000 into this DST or that DST, how do they get started? Like where, you've got some experience in this. What would you say?
So obviously, we all love investment real estate, and so being in the investment real estate world is great for a lot of reasons. It can really bring a lot of wealth into your family's estate, which is fantastic, and that's why we all think about it. And so making sure that you're just getting involved, really. If you're here in San Diego, come join us at San Diego SDCIA, which is one of the RIA groups. There's RIA groups nationwide. It's a great way to learn about how to do deals, how to find deals, how to just a lot of knowledge out there. And most people are really happy to help, and which is it may be surprising to some, but people like to see other people succeed, and I believe that. So it's something that's very important when it comes to going out there and just putting yourself out there and learning about how to buy properties. And then once you get to the fortunate position of having a lot of equity in your property and a lot of gain in your property, also known as profit, then you can start thinking about tax mitigation, and then you start talking to me about 1031 exchanges, and then you're in a good position. You really are. So it's a great place to be.
Right on. So SDCIA is San Diego Creative Investors Association. You can find it at sdcia.com. If you decide to come to a meeting, you'll see me there. You'll see Gabe there.
That's right.
It's really for us about the community, and so the resources that you need are going to be there to help you figure out how to do your first deal or to do your 10th deal, and the professionals you need to work with, like Gabe, are going to be in attendance to help you out. So I hope some folks decide to come check us out. You can also find us online as a member, you can see different recordings and things like that on our website. Um, Gabe, for you, what's the best part about coming to RIAs like SDCIA?
I love the speakers, always great speakers. I love walking around, visiting all the tables with different people from different industries. So, like myself, people in the lending business, people in the real estate sales business, and a number of other vendors out there that are really conducive and helpful when it comes to just being in that world.
Right on. We're gonna have to get you up there speaking yourself one of these days.
Can't wait.
Yeah, all right. So then, if people want to get a hold of you, where are you going there? How do we get a hold of you?
Sure. Well, you can always call me. So Gabe Candea, I'm with Perch Wealth. My phone number is 858-533-7200. My email is gcandea@perchwealth.com. So I'll spell that out, GCANDEA at perch, PERCH, wealth.com. Or you can always visit our website, perchwealth.com. Or, come friend me on LinkedIn. We're always sharing educational material, educational articles. Most of what I do on a daily basis is education. I'm not selling anybody anything. I'm just telling them what the process is, what is available to them, and how it might benefit them. And they make the decision from there. So always happy to share information, and that's really what it's all about, is making sure that people are educated on all of this.
It's all about the education and networking.
That's right.
I love it. Right on. Well, I really appreciate you taking the time to come on today and help people learn about Delaware Statutory Trust. It's a new one to me, really. So
Once
that was
again, terrible
fascinating.
name, but it's a great solution.
It's absolutely fascinating. Yeah, no, I hope I can work up towards that and get something done. So, um, but with that, everybody, thanks for listening here today on the Real Men of Real Estate on KCAA Radio. My name is Dan Redig. I've been here with Gabe Candea for the last hour. Thanks again for listening, and come back and see us next Sunday at 1 p.m.